Hey, everybody. I'm Todd Jones, CEO of the Reading Chamber of Commerce, and this is the City Builders Podcast, and I'm super excited to have my good friend, Jonathan Anderson, with me, the CEO of the Good News Rescue Mission. And today, we're going to talk about a lot of things, a little bit of the history of the mission, a lot of the programs and projects they're working on right now, including the day center and behavioral health projects, and really what it takes to get someone out of homelessness, which is a big issue for our community. But you guys are solving that problem every day. It seems like the spigot is always on and it's never ending, but eventually, I think with some policy changes, we're going to get there. So join us for this conversation and learn more about the Good News Rescue Mission. Welcome to the City Builders Podcast, brought to you by the Reading Chamber of Commerce. I'm Todd Jones, President and CEO. In each episode, we bring you insights from local business leaders, tackle important issues, and explore what's shaping the future of Reading. Whether you're a business owner or just interested in our community's growth, this podcast has something for you. Thanks for joining us. This is City Builders. The City Builders Podcast is brought to you by Obsidian IT. Obsidian IT is a Reading-based, employee-owned technology company providing simple, scalable, outsourced IT for your business. Discover how Obsidian cares about IT and give them a call at 530-242-6000 or obsidianit.com. Obsidian keeps us running at the Chamber, and we could not do business without them. Hey, man, thanks for being here. I'm excited about this podcast. I've been on the board now for just over a year, and I can't keep up with all the things that you guys are doing. So we'll get to what you guys are doing.
Yep.
Tell us about, who is Jonathan Anderson? How did you end up as the CEO of the Good News Rescue Mission and in Reading? Give us a little snippet, a little backstory.
I mean, what brought me to Reading was Simpson University.
Okay, nice.
So Simpson University brought me to
University.
Reading. Yep, graduated Simpson with my degree in Old Testament theology.
Okay,
which was cool. I got to go to Israel, study Hebrew, all that stuff. It was fantastic.
Can you still read in Hebrew?
I can read and write in Hebrew, but I can't speak it.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And I'm not fluent.
Wow, I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, it's good. I love it.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yep. So that's what brought me to Reading. But then what
did you want to do? Did you want to be like a seminary teacher or something?
Yeah,
a pastor?
I originally thought I wanted to be a youth pastor. Okay. So I was a youth ministry major.
Okay.
But I took my first class with Dr. Glenn Schaefer for Old Testament, fell in love with the Old Testament, and changed my major.
Wow.
And then I had no idea what I would ever do with an Old Testament degree.
Yeah.
Still don't know what I would do with that degree.
But you can read Hebrew. That's pretty sweet.
I can read Hebrew. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was cool. It's actually served me really well. I loved the degree. I loved the education. It was great. Went on to start doing my master's in early church history, divinity, things like that. And then when I came back to the Reading area, man, it was during the 2008, 2009 recession. And I was trying to get into law enforcement. And so I would sign all these conditional job offers, and then there'd be a budget cut, a layoff, anything like that. And so I was trying to get sponsored through the academies. And man, when I moved up here, I just figured, you know what, I'm going to put myself through the police academy.
Yeah.
So I did.
Wow.
Put myself through the police academy, graduated, and 2 weeks after I graduated, I got an offer to work at the Good News Rescue Mission.
Wow. What was that first job?
Which was like, if you had ever gone to the mission, it is not appealing. Not at the time, right?
Yeah.
And so it was really weird because I took a tour and I just knew God is calling me here. And I will never be able to make as much money as I could in the law enforcement, but this is where I'm called. And so, man, I called one of the agencies, like, I'm out. Sorry, this is where God's calling me.
But you went through the police academy. Where'd you go to the police academy?
Right here. So there was the Shasta Butte academy that they were doing. So I did that here. It was a modular format academy that they did. So I did that here. Actually, Chief Brian Barner, man, he was the one that did my little gas chamber.
Oh, nice.
Take my gas mask off and
I've done that before several times. Not fun.
Not fun.
Yeah,
but
CS gas.
But it was the CS gas.
Yeah.
But the worst was the pepper spray.
Oh, I didn't have to do that.
Oh my! Shoot me. Don't pepper spray me. Just do me a favor and shoot me. I mean, I love hot peppers, man. I eat the world's hottest peppers, they don't even compare to the pepper spray.
Wow.
That stuff was hell.
Yeah.
It was absolutely horrific.
And then you see
highly
these videos
effective.
that people do it and they're like on drugs and they don't even feel it.
Phase
It's crazy.
I don't know how. I don't know how that doesn't phase them, but yeah. So,
But you got your post certificate.
post certified.
If you wanted to go be in law enforcement now, does it expire?
It's expired. Yeah, it's expired.
Dang.
I could have.
Yeah.
I could have, and at the time, I could have even been like a reserve or anything like that at the time, but no, it's expired.
So what was that first job of the mission that you did?
So they had hired me to build a job readiness center and an academic center. And so they had a little bit of an academic center at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really just envisioning what could this be. And so I came in, built out the academic center with Dr. Ray John.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And then from there, we started building out job readiness, life skills, interviewing, all of that. It was amazing. So we even partnered up with Shasta College in the early stages of the Step Up. So it was Captain Bertain and Eva Jimenez. And we partnered up and started helping with Step Up program. When we our first year of doing college readiness for our population, the first year we had 36 people graduate Shasta.
Wow.
After our first year of getting that started. Well, graduate. They entered in and then got into associate program, and then they graduated after that. One of our students was even the valedictorian.
Wow.
Which was amazing.
That's awesome.
Which was amazing, yeah. So it was cool. That's what they hired me for. That was 2 years. And then the CEO came and said, man, I think God's calling you to be the next CEO. And I was like, I grabbed my heart. I was like, Caesar, call an ambulance. I'm having a heart attack. I was like, nope, no way. I'll never do it. I don't want that job. That's ridiculous. Who would want that job,
Tough job.
And then here I am. The board hired me.
So and how long have you been the CEO?
11 years.
Wow.
So 13 years total at the mission. 11 years as the CEO.
That's amazing.
It's been a fun ride.
A lot has changed.
Wild.
A lot has changed in the last 6 months, it feels like, but certainly a lot has changed in the last 13 years.
Yeah, a lot
at the
has
mission.
changed. Totally. So we have, when I first started this is really a credit to our team and to our board. When I first started, our board ran more like a church eldership, right? And now today the board is very much on a corporate board side.
Yeah.
And so we went from a board that was highly involved in the operations to a board that is completely detached from operations and it's just policy governance. So that has actually enabled us to change policy and then be able to launch out into a lot of the initiatives that we've done over this past year. Huge stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just huge. We just started launching into 2 years ago, partnering to utilize government and state resources. So federal, county, city, and state resources.
Yeah. Walk me through kind of what that decision process was like 2 years ago. That was before I was on the board. And I mean, that's a pretty big shift for what was primarily a donor funded operation for many, many years to what it is now, and what it's becoming is really completely different.
Yeah,
Not completely different, but the funding source and where you guys are going, the resources, it's tremendous.
Yeah, we were 100% privately funded. We took no government resources at all. As long as I was there, probably before.
And when was the mission founded?
I think 1964.
Okay.
Between 61 and 64, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay.
So we, as a board, a lot of when I got there, a lot of the mantra was we can't utilize any government funding, because if we do, then we can no longer be a ministry. There's too many strings attached. That was just the mantra. And so eventually I started to research that. And what I found out is that's not true. And when I challenged others, why do you say that? No, but it's just, hey, we've always said that.
Thought.
We've always thought that, right? But that message was also highly ingrained in the churches. Oh, the mission doesn't take that because then they can't do ministry. It's like, that is absolutely not the case at all. And so I did a lot of research, and then I toured a lot of our sister missions who are utilizing government funding, who are completely faith-based, looked at how they're doing it. Like, it's just a it's a huge misconception.
Yeah.
Educated our board on that, and then our board said, okay, yeah, let's start exploring this route. So we started to just really explore that. We had a couple contracts with the county, for food and things like this, like $50,000 here, $50,000 here, just some small contracts, and just exploring that. And after the first year, it's like, okay, this actually works. And not only does it work, it actually helps us to be able to kind of divide and separate. Here's what would be publicly funded things, and here's what would be mission-driven operations and programs. We can separate the two, and we can be much more faith-focused on this side as a result. So it actually increases and enhances our ministry now, which is awesome. Which is amazing. I absolutely love it. So as a result, man, I mean, over the past 12 months, just the past 12 months, oh my goodness, we have done more in the past 12 months in the sense of scalability, expansion, than we have in 60 years combined.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah. It is exhausting too.
Yeah.
But so in 12 months, here it is. So in just the past 12, well, not even less than 12 months, right? We're not even at December yet. So in less than 12 months, we purchased, renovated, and opened our very first sober living home to provide housing for 8 people coming out of long-term recovery programs. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful home. Like, we raise property values in the neighborhoods we're coming into.
That's awesome.
Which I love. I just love that. We were able to partner with the city of Redding, built our very first micro shelter community, which is a 17-unit micro shelter community. It is absolutely stunning.
I got to see their opening night.
You did,
and
stay there.
They were
That's
great.
Right.
Yeah,
we
got
stayed
the fire pit. We got the mayor almost arrested.
Mayor Jack Muntz came out in his waffle pajamas, almost got arrested. It was fantastic. I hope he doesn't see this, but it was fantastic. We opened up our very first 17-unit micro shelter community, which we can talk about later.
We'll dive into some of these.
The outcomes with that are incredible. We also then purchased, just closed escrow about a month ago on 11 apartments. So we just purchased 11 apartments. We have been renovating our existing shelter to be able to bring it up to something that's much more dignifying. It's 60 years old, so outdated.
So tired.
It has seen a lot of life. I mean, over 20,000 people. Well over 20,000 people who have utilized those services. So we've been doing that. We also broke ground. Oh, before I say that, we purchased and built our very first caretakers unit for permanent housing, and we got a second one going in. And then we just broke ground on an adult rehabilitation campus. So we're building the very first large community day center for people who are experiencing homelessness. They can come in off the streets, go to the day center, get all the resources they need. And that's phase 1. So we're in active construction on that. It's a $4.5 million project. And then we also have phase 2. We're breaking ground on a $18 million medically assisted treatment facility that will have 75 beds of residential medically assisted treatment. What I keep telling people is today, heroin is very, very, very difficult for people to just kick. Hardly anybody could do that cold turkey.
Right.
You need to have medically assisted treatment. Fentanyl, 50 times more potent than heroin.
Wow.
How do people do that? And fentanyl is laced into virtually everything at the street level. So there's a huge need to have medically assisted treatment that's residential in our community. Without that, I mean, our future is it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So we're building that out as well. All of that, I mean, I don't know, $30 million in projects in just
primarily state funded.
Yeah.
Wow.
All state funded.
Wow.
In less than 12 months.
100%?
All state funded.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Crazy. And it's not enough. That's just capital funding. That's not operations.
Yeah.
That is only for the buildings.
Yeah.
And to get them going, that's nothing on the operation. So we still have to try to fundraise for all the operations that are now increased as a result. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge risk for us.
Yeah.
Huge risk, because this is our first time really going in and doing things at this scale, this capacity. But we're learning as we go, and we believe firmly that the community needs this, and we know over our history that we have proven outcomes. We know how to steward finances exceptionally well. I will say it like this, which I hope doesn't offend anybody, but I'll say it like this. I trust our organization. I trust myself. I trust our team to spend government money, my taxpayer dollars, far more than I trust the state of California to spend those.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so if we're not, as an organization, if we're not taking those funds, somebody is.
They're going to go somewhere. Absolutely.
And they're getting wasted.
Yeah.
And I've seen the billions of dollars that California has spent on homelessness, and it has only increased over 20 years, is not decreased.
Right.
It is
the funding is increased, but the problem is still getting bigger, right?
way bigger.
Yeah.
So it's time that organizations like ours who have proven outcomes, we start utilizing those funds and putting them to really good use. Otherwise, to some extent, taxpayer dollars are being wasted.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. And our board, I think they're in agreement with me on that. So we're going forward.
So let's talk a little bit about that funding from the state of California versus what you're doing for the ministry of the Good News Rescue Mission. How do you walk that line of, we're getting a lot of state funding, but we still need private donors to support the work of the mission? What is that separation, and why, where do those two buckets kind of land?
Yeah, so we are.
You guys aren't just like, flush with cash, ready to go.
No,
you still need support from the community.
Yeah, and we don't commingle. We don't commingle these funds, and we also don't commingle like programs with that either. We have very clear lines that are drawn, and so we can show that in our accounting. We can show that in any audits that show up. And so, with our private donations, right? We are a gospel-centered organization, gospel-centered ministry, and always will be. That is our core. That's why we exist. And so, what we've done is we say, okay, here is our overall ministry. Here's our overall programs that we run, that we operate, that are 100% privately funded. So if we have people from the churches, people from the community who are saying, hey, I want to fund you, all your private donations go to us being able to do our ministry.
Right.
All of the government funding goes to building the actual buildings.
Gotcha.
Right. And then it's all the expenses for those buildings. Once those are up, once they're built, well, we may go in and it may be where the employees are hired through medical insurance, they're paid through medical reimbursements, things like that. None of that is the ministry aspect that we're doing over here.
Right.
And so we're able to actually draw clear lines, which I love. Good example is we can do state licensed recovery programs, medically assisted treatment programs, all of that on a facility over here. And then we can do gospel-centered programs in ministry on a facility that's over here.
Right.
So, and we actually put that on two separate places on the campus, and people can walk back and forth between the two of them. So we have clear lines, yet we can provide a level of care to far more people than we've ever been able to do in greater ways than I think we've ever imagined. And it's something that our community desperately needs.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the ministry then. What's the ministry of the mission? Like what lives in that bucket, in that world at the mission? What's the ministry?
Yeah, and when you ask that question, I'll dispel a rumor too.
Okay.
Right? So there is a rumor that if you're at the mission, you have to observe anything religious in order to get services, a meal, shelter at night, whatever. That is not the case. We do not force anybody to observe our religious practice in order to get a meal, bedding, clothing, anything like that. We are actually adamantly against forcing religion on anybody. It's religious abuse is what that is. But we firmly believe in that the ministry aspect, the gospel-centered ministry aspect, is life-transforming. And so, man, we try to infuse Christ-centered culture into everything that we do. And so we have a campus pastor that's a full-time employee that oversees the full ministry. We have, 30, 40 local churches that come in and partner, and they provide ministry on the campus with us. Every one of our employees has the opportunity to be spiritually mentored by our campus pastor, and then also spiritually mentor all of our guests who want that.
Yeah.
We do every day. We have chapel services every single day, 7 days a week. We do chapel services. We have Bible studies. If you need prayer, we have people who are pray for you. We have prayer teams that walk the campus doing prayer walks. We are inviting groups like BSF and others to come in and hold their Bible study fellowship there, and then invite our guests to be a part of that. We actively encourage small groups from churches to hold your small group Bible studies there and invite our guests into that. Everything we do, whether it's a state-funded program, whether it's a discipleship program, a ministry, volunteer, no matter what it is, it's all an excuse to create relationship. That at the core, what we know is relationship is what transforms and heals people's lives.
Yeah.
So everything, what are the excuses we can do to create relationship? And through these relationships, I believe that you're able to experience God through each other's lives.
Yeah.
And transformation happens.
That's amazing.
Programs are great. Trust me, they're awesome. We need them. But without healthy, positive relationships through these programs, they're not effective.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So recently you spent 24 hours on a
man.
bench. I came down and visited with you for a few hours. We had some friends come down, and we talked about that idea of relationship. And we could talk about more about your time on the bench, but we talked about relationship. And I mean, really, at the end of the day, the people that I saw that spent time with you that were formerly part of programs, or when I was at Harvest of Hope, and heard about stories of people that have gone through the programs at the mission, there's really two things that are the same in everybody's story, right? There's someone came alongside them, has a relationship, and then, God impacted them in some way, somehow. So those are kind of the two things that you see as the common denominator with people that are able to break the cycle of poverty and come through there. So, it was fun to watch you on the bench and hear those stories from people. And it's pretty incredible to see the transformation. I mean, you have been there for 13 years and you've seen thousands and thousands of people come out of this. It's an amazing program that you guys have. But there's a lot of people that also don't. They're not coming to the mission. And when I think about our chronically homeless people, and they're not all maybe homeless, but the people that you see on the streets. I'm in downtown Reading. I see basically the same 4 people every single day.
Yeah.
Those people are not likely guests at the mission.
True.
Some of them might come in from time and time again, but what's going on with all those other people that we see that are not coming out of the encampments and they're not coming and receiving help? I mean, how do we classify that population of people? Yeah. And how do we get them off the streets?
Great question.
Good question.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So to put it into numbers, so over the past 11 years, we at the mission have been able to provide services to 18,000 individuals.
Wow.
Which is in my opinion, a big number for this community. So had we at the mission not been here in our
18% of our population almost. I mean,
for the
we're
city
about
of Reading,
100,000
for the city of Reading, yeah. So for when you look at that, if we at the mission, if the other social services, county and city social services, if they weren't there, 18,000 people would be sleeping on the streets right now,
right,
or more,
or
more, right? We basically are the city of San Francisco at that point.
Wow,
with 180,000 in the county as a whole. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, what you have to do is look at the numbers. So at the mission, each year we're going to serve anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 unique people. Living on the streets at any given time is somewhere around 600 people.
Mm-hmm.
The people at the mission you're not going to see.
Right.
You have to come to us and see people involved in a program. It's everyone on the streets that our general public sees. And that's about 600 people, right? Yes, we would define this population as chronically homeless. That would be the proper definition. In my opinion, what do we do with this population? So we can get into we can go any avenue you want on this topic, but What I would say first and foremost is this is a population of people who, for some reason, don't want help, aren't ready for help, or don't even know that they need help.
Right.
So it really lends into what are the reasons that they don't want to come in. Well, for me, the really, really big one is after the passage of Prop 46, which was kind of the decriminalization of drugs. Cool, we could decriminalize drugs, but we built no infrastructure to be able to mitigate the unintended consequences.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like in Portugal, they mandated people into recovery programs, social programs. That's how they mitigated the consequences. Here, California, we did nothing. As a result, we don't have homeless encampments anymore. We have open drug scenes.
Right.
That's what you classify it as. And the reason I say that is people before have heard me say is if it's a homeless encampment and you call it that, then it implies that a house would fix all the issues.
Right.
Right? Well, that's not the case. If it is if it's an open drug scene, then that implies drugs are the issue. If people are then going into long-term recovery services, medically assisted detox, medically assisted treatment, it'll fix the issue. Yeah, that's the case.
Yeah.
And then at that point, once you've dealt with the drug issues and then you incorporate psychology to help with the trauma and the past hurts and pains, now someone's actually ready to steward the responsibilities of housing, right? So terminology is huge. Why are people not wanting help? Why are people not wanting to come to the mission or any other resources in the community? Largely a part, in my opinion, is the drugs are so powerful at the street level. It's gripped so many. Not everybody camping is addicted to drugs. Not everyone.
Yeah.
Vast majority.
Yeah.
And how potent drugs are now, it is creating this level of psychosis in people at the same time. And so now you're becoming extremely mentally unstable. And it's like, well, what do we do with that? And we don't have a lot of good behavioral health anywhere in California to help with that.
I'm sympathetic to our local government, specifically the city of Redding's budget challenges, because we have all these things that are kind of put on the shoulders of our local government and our local community and our local missions, but we're just not equipped to deal with it. We don't have the resources, we don't have the funding. We make these policy changes, and in my opinion, at Sacramento, what happens most of the time is they don't think about the unintended consequences, which we're seeing right now locally, like in our city at the mission. That's a tough.
It's really
That's a tough deal. I mean, so what kind of policy changes could we do besides funding for programs like the behavioral health facility that the mission is building? Besides that, what are some policy changes that can kind of hold these people accountable? How do you enforce some of this stuff?
Yeah, such a good question. Not to get too much in the past, but Assembly Bill 109 was the early release of nonviolent offenders, from prison to county.
Yeah, we use the word nonviolent pretty loosely.
Yep, and then we passed Prop 47, which was take basically all drug crimes that are felony and reduce them to a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
So you're eligible for early release under AB 109. And then we passed Prop 57, which, man, if people have never heard this, just do a quick Google.
Yeah.
Just do a quick Google. How many crimes were reclassified, declassified from violent crimes to nonviolent? You'll find over 500 crimes, seriously violent crimes, seriously heinous crimes that went from violent to nonviolent. I mean, I literally challenge everybody to Google that. And when you do, you will not believe it.
And we passed voters. Propositions were passed by voters.
Do you know how we
not by the
passed
legislature?
Do you know how we
like
passed
the Safe Schools and Communities Act?
That's what it was.
That's what it was,
Schools,
right?
If you vote
To
yes,
decriminalize violent crimes.
it will reduce the number of felons who are hanging out around schools. Is what it was. Okay, so yeah, vote yes. All right. Well, we just reclassified their crime. Which so for instance, I mean, I won't go into all of it, but for instance, discharging an explosive with intent of terrorism is nonviolent. It was reclassified to nonviolent. Like, make that make sense. Discharging a firearm on school grounds. What? That's nonviolent. Like, how do you reclassify these things? That's absurd. So that's what they did. All right, you're getting me on my soapbox.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
when we talk about how do we fix these issues, is through policy changes like this.
Yeah.
We have to be able to see that not everyone who is homeless is a criminal.
Yeah.
Not even remotely close, right? But the criminal justice system and the social service system heavily overlap, and they need to heavily overlap.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have both. I kind of am unique in that perspective. A lot in the social service world will not say that, and they don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. But I do. I believe heavily in responsibility, and I believe heavily in accountability.
Yeah, that's good.
And so that's just my perspective from it. If you were to interview a lot of the people who've gone through our recovery programs and graduated, when they give their testimony, there is some law enforcement officer somewhere that they are thanking, because without that person, they would have never chosen to go into a recovery program.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, two of the people I know in town, one of them, which is Adam Schwartz, who's on the board, and he's, his testimony is pretty widely heard, but I mean, it really took him going to jail.
Yes.
I mean, being held accountable.
Yes.
And now look at him. He's like one of the, most successful guys I know.
Yes.
He's doing amazing.
Yes. So before Prop 46, if you say you got 3 DUIs, right, you could go sit before a judge, Shasta County Court, and the DA is going to prosecute, and the judge is going to say, okay, you're going to spend 3 years in prison. Or you could go do a recovery program.
Mm-hmm.
And upon successful completion of the recovery program, we'll talk about a reduction of your whatever you're going to be convicted of, right? So majority of people were going into recovery programs because the court was mandating them to recovery programs.
Yeah, better than jail, right?
And giving them the option, right? Majority. After Prop 46, you don't have that anymore. Because these aren't felonious crimes that you can go to prison for, and your jail space is all taken up from Prop 57 people. Yeah. So what do? You cannot mandate people into recovery programs. That's why we've seen this explosion of people who are in homeless encampments that have now become open drug scenes because they're highly addicted to drugs, right? It's no secret. Everybody knows this in our society. Just walk outside. It's there, right? It's kind of legal to just throw a heroin needle in your arm and shoot up. And what can anybody do? That's sad, man. That says something about the state of our society if we're not able to intervene and help people. Yeah. So for me, policy change, I know it's controversial, but we have to get to a place where we are able to conserve people against their will. Yeah. And how that looks, I don't know. And I don't even think California knows, but
what's the magic wand? What's the Jonathan Anderson answer to that question?
Oh, man.
What that you're comfortable sharing?
I'm actually, personally, really in favor of the model that Sheriff Mike Johnson put forth before he was even our sheriff, when he was chief in Anderson. And so the model that he put together is we need to create a misdemeanor-only facility, low level, misdemeanor-only facility. If you are committing crimes in this community, you can be convicted of misdemeanors. This is the facility you go to. Now, you have the option. You could choose to serve your time, a year in this misdemeanor facility, or you can involve yourself in whatever programs you need to help you wherever you're at in your life. So if you have mental health issues, we have mental health built into the facility that you can involve in. If you have drug abuse issues, we have medical detox, medically assisted treatment, and long-term recovery, right? If it's none of those, and man, you're someone who like got picked up at 2 a.m. Oh, well, you can do community service for the next, 6 months and work your time off. He built a model that says, hey, we want you to be well, and we're going to do the most compassionate we can by you by giving you all the resources available. You can have it. You don't have to spend spend a year in jail. Right. You could do any of these things, but if you don't want that, well, then you can spend your year in jail. Right. Choice is yours. Yeah. Man, I love that model.
That's great.
It's accountability, it's responsibility, and compassionately, it's providing quality care for people to overcome whatever it is that's been really hindering or even destroying their life. Yeah. I mean, I work with 18,000 people over 11 years. I've seen families utterly ruined, absolutely destroyed, and it's either because of either one or the other, or a combination of severe trauma and drug abuse. So it's what it boils down to.
What is the roadmap for people to get out of like an encampment to being a productive member of society? Like that's the goal of the mission fundamentally, as I see it, right?
Totally.
Get off the streets, become a productive member of society, and as Arnold Schwarzenegger says, be useful.
Yeah.
Be useful.
Totally.
Great
So
book, by the way.
Our organization, over these past 12 months, everything that we have invested, literally our last dime into is literally, it's a foundation for a roadmap that we believe will create success in healing. I call it a continuum of healing, or a continuum of care. And so we've built the foundation. What the roadmap looks like is we have outreach teams who are going into encampments, and we are starting to case manage people while they're in an encampment. We don't require you to come to us. We're going to you.
Yeah.
So our outreach team is going to these encampments. If there's 600 people, we want to hit 600 people in 1 year.
Your team probably knows a lot of them already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so the goal, though, is to build trust and rapport. The goal is not try to heal someone in an encampment. No, we're building trust. We're building rapport. So over a year time, we've built this trust and rapport with you. Once our large community day center is completed, now we're going to start holding these block parties at the day center. Hey, why don't you come over and have a barbecue? This past year, we started holding block parties, and we'd have 100, 200 people come out of encampments to a block party.
Wow.
And it was phenomenal. But then they'd go back to encampment. So now have the day center will be completed. Why don't you come in? And it is beautiful. We will have all the outdoor lounge areas. We have everything. It's a gated facility. It's private. It's for this population of people. They can feel safe. They feel secured, but all the resources are available for them. You've got the computer labs. You have coffee shops. You have, dog parks, dog kennels, dog wash stations, bike repair stations, all of this in one little campus.
That's awesome.
So come out of an encampment, come into the day center. And as you're the more and more you're ingrained in here, eventually you're going to say, well, hey, can I start outpatient treatment? Absolutely. We provide outpatient treatment here. Or you'll say, hey, I don't want to go back to, an encampment. Do you have shelter? Absolutely. Shelter is 200 yards away. Let's take you to shelter. Or you could say, hey, how do I get into that 3-story, absolutely beautiful apartment complex?
Yeah.
Hey, that's our medically assisted treatment facility. We'd love to have you in there 30, 60, or 90 days, residential medically assisted treatment. We are getting fentanyl out of your system.
Yeah.
Once you've gone through now what would be 6 months to a year, completely detoxed everything out of your system. Okay, now let's get you into long-term recovery. So you go through long-term recovery. You've got another 6 months to a year through that. Okay, now let's put you into interim housing, which can be our micro shelters.
Yeah.
It could be our apartments that we're investing in. We've got this whole infrastructure. Let's get you in interim housing. While there, we now have case managers attached to you who are going to teach you a rent-to-ready program. You might have heard that in our conversations last week. So you have rent-to-ready, job readiness. You have all these programs. We help you get employed. You are here for 10 months in the interim housing. You've been employed. You've been a year clean and sober at the same time. As you are working up your way through that corporate ladder, you're also going through the money savings and everything.
Yeah.
So you're saving up. At the end of 10 months, you've held down almost a year of employment, maybe a year of employment. You're now about 2 years clean and sober. Now we transition you into our permanent housing that we've invested in. Once you're in permanent housing, we then attach another case manager to you who's going to teach you all the life skills and be with you as the weight of the world crushes on you. They're right there to support you.
Yeah.
And after a year later, now we integrate you into an entire alumni community of everybody who's gone through this process. You've got church members who are checking in on you. You have small groups. You have all these people. We've created healthy, positive communities. So you've had 3 years clean and sober, 2 years of employment, 1 year permanently housed, and then we start to back away. That is the roadmap to ensure nobody goes back to living on the streets.
Wow.
We took 12 months to build that foundation.
Yeah.
And we are actively working people through that right now, and it's succeeding.
That's amazing.
Man, the more we can do that, and
Yeah.
the more we invest in the housing, the more employees we can get to facilitate this, that, in my opinion, is one of the ways you start to solve, quote, homelessness.
Yeah, right.
Which is amazing. So what's really cool is the adult rehabilitation campus that we're building. I mean, you can it's massive, right? So a $4.5 million building here, $18 million building here. That's big, and especially for this area, that's big. What's awesome is everything goes to bid, and vast majority are local contractors who won the bid.
That's
for
awesome.
instance, U.S. Offsite.
Oh yeah, I love
Right.
those guys.
U.S. Offsite. Dan and his team are amazing. So we're able to do modular format builds. We're able to put modular format stuff all through everything we're doing. It's
Yeah.
very cost effective, very savings. But what I absolutely love is through some partnerships, Dan has even had a heart for the people coming out of these recovery programs. And it's like, man, can I teach them trades?
Yeah.
And so he's employing people from our recovery programs who are then building the infrastructure for more people to go through
Yeah.
the programs that they're building. It's phenomenal. I love it. It's amazing. So they're going straight out of recovery right into workforce, and he's training them with amazing, amazing carpentry skills. They're teaching them the trades, electrical, the whole bit. And it's just, to me, it's like, that's what we do as a community.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we do.
Yeah,
That's
US
how we heal lives.
U.S. Offsite's an amazing company. I mean, they've been around now for quite a while, and they've gone through some ups and downs, and they started operating probably less than 2 years ago at down south of the airport on Meadowview Lane, and they have over, I don't know what the last count is, but probably about 60 plus employees right now. And their culture down there at US Offsite is one of a kind. I mean, they're creating a culture, they're creating a system, and they're creating this amazing place to work, but they're adding value and, you know, putting them back into a facility like the Mission to build that new facility. And they build them all basically almost fully complete down there in Reading, south of the airport, ship them over there, put them together. And, you know, within a short amount of time, they're operational.
Yeah,
I mean, it cuts down a lot of the uncertainty that goes into building, especially around here where, you know, we're already into the rainy season, and but they can be working right now.
You're so right. So you're so right. You don't have to deal with tremendous amount of change orders. You don't have to deal with it is efficient, it's cost effective, and it's beautiful. I mean, one of them, we did a caretaker's unit with them, and so it's kind of like the additional dwelling units that they've been building.
Yeah.
We were able to purchase one of those. We partnered with the city of Reading. We just laid out the foundation. We put our first caretaker's unit in. It's almost 700 square feet or so. Absolutely beautiful. Like, people should go onto the Good News Rescue Mission website, gnrm.org, go to our project page, and look at the inside of it. I mean, they're 10 times more beautiful than my house.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, we just got our first family to move in there. A husband, a wife with their kids just moved in there. We've been dreaming for the day that we could provide housing for homeless families. And it's here. It's happening. Best part too is everything we're doing is we're future proofing. So it's like, hey, cool, we put one in. There's actually space for two. We just don't have the money.
Right.
Put all the electrical and sewage in.
Yeah.
We got it all there. Now, for $100,000, maybe $150,000, we could put a second house in that houses another family permanently.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find a brand new house for $150,000 anywhere that people could be in permanently?
No, they're beautiful. And I mean, $100,000 for $150,000. You know, we talked a little bit earlier about the California, what sometimes I like to call it. Now I'm on the board, so I have to be careful, but the homelessness industrial complex, which is rampant in California. You know, the average cost for affordable housing in California is almost $1 million per door.
Yeah.
Per door.
Yes.
You know, you look at the homeless population in our area and say, hey, if I just give them all $1 million, like, what can I do with that? Obviously, it's probably, a lot of it will probably get wasted, right? Like, you got to get people into programs and support. Otherwise, they're just going to spin their wheels. But to be able to build a unit for $100,000 or $150,000 that a family can move into, I mean, that's unheard of. Even the micro shelters. I mean, I don't remember what the exact cost was, but the cost it took to build the micro shelters that the Mission took on in partnership with Joshua Johnson and his team versus the pallet shelters that come from the government.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like half the cost.
It is actually literally
the
half the
government's
cost.
not always. I mean, we need them to support these programs, but they're not always the most efficient. But you guys are finding a way to leverage dollars and make the dollar go a lot further, which is incredible.
100%, man. I mean, and Kate, good case in point. You had the pallet shelters that the city had purchased, and we were able to put those in. But then we were able to stick build our own, which it's 2x6 construction, spray foam insulation. It meets all the energy calcs. And they're beautiful. Yeah, they are just beautiful. Mayor Jack Munns was staying in one of them, right?
So did I.
Yeah, you did too, right? Yeah. And they're awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
That literally was 50% of the cost of one of these really thin pallet shelters, right? And so, no knock on pallet shelters at all. Just you can do stuff with greater excellence and totally save money. It's just an example of what I said earlier of we know how to steward our resources really well. Yeah. We don't waste them like a lot of our tax dollars get wasted. And that's why it's like, okay, we need to start taking that money and showing the government how to do this really well. Yeah. And that's that we're doing that. We are a living example right now.
It goes both ways, right? You're taking the resources and you are an example for our elected officials on what good stewardship and good governance can be. And I mean, it's and the thing I love, not just about the efficiency, but also the programs, right? Like you see these different, housing villages throughout California. And if you don't have the programs like the mission does wrapped around those services, it's not going to be as effective, right? You got to have the services there too. You got to have it.
You have to have the services. And then it's also the philosophy behind the services because some services they don't require accountability or responsibility. Right. And so then it just comes into almost like a squatter village. Yeah. And you don't want that. You want it to be a place of hope and healing and restoration. And so, and bring dignity too. So we are big on both accountability and responsibility. And like, for instance, if you walk into our micro shelter community, Kirkwood Hill, Plantable. Yeah. Another great kind of U.S. offsite kind of story. Kirkwood did all of the landscaping inside of our micro shelter village, right? He did all the landscaping, but he hired people from our shelter to come in and do it. Yeah. They worked so well that then he just hired them all full time for Plantable, right? And I love that. And so now you have people who are living at a shelter, working full time, and then trying to get to the point where they can transition out. That's how we do this, right? Yeah. But you go in, man, I encourage people, go to our project page and look at the photos. When you see this, you're like, can you guys come do my garden in my backyard?
Yeah, it's incredible.
This is gorgeous.
And the lighting, everything. I mean,
everything.
It's so quiet and peaceful.
Man.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It is so good. And that's, my vision is, we have a very large footprint here on South Market Street. I mean, we're spread across almost 4 city blocks, and I don't know, there's probably 15 buildings we're operating out of now. And that's just on site. My heart is, I want to take a model from San Antonio, Texas, what they did, and create a co-located campus. So it's not just Good News Rescue Mission. This is multiple nonprofits, social service agencies who are on one campus, each providing their unique services. So if you come to this campus, you don't have to go anywhere else. Right. You can stay here until you are ready to transition into permanent housing. In order to do that, though, my vision is we need this to look like the brand new downtown Market Street. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Beautiful cobblestone, public market, like the whole bit. If this campus looked like that, or some revitalized college campus that's beautiful, people want to be there. Right. Like you'd be like, I would rather be there than in an encampment. Yeah. You probably heard the rumors for years. I've heard the rumors. I've heard them so much I had to start questioning myself at one point, which is, hey, are all these people coming from all over the world just to come to the Good News Rescue Mission?
An attraction,
right?
Like you have all these resources.
You make it look so beautiful. Yeah. People are obviously coming from Switzerland to here, right?
I've heard the rumor.
To sleep in your homeless shelter, right? Like, no, that is not true. That is not the case. That does not happen in any way, shape, or form. But truthfully, you want us to be so attractive in our community that people don't want to be sleeping in front of Safeway, South City Park, City Hall, Linden Canyon. People don't want to be there. They want to be inside of our facility.
Yeah.
If we are so attractive that people are in our facility, you won't see them on the street anymore.
Yeah.
If we're doing our job really well, you're not going to see people on the street anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not satisfied until people are off the street and they're all in these facilities and they're all getting the help that they need. That's when I'm sad. That's when I'll be like, okay, I'll retire.
Yeah, you're good.
We're good.
Yeah,
you guys worked me out of a job, right? I'm good at that point. We want that to happen, man. That's not a negative thing. But dispel the rumor, there have been some other agencies who have like taken contracts to bring people out of other states into our community. There's some nonprofits that have done that. I don't condone that. Most of us don't condone that.
Yeah.
That is not something the Good News Rescue Mission does, nor will we ever. And we will never take money to bring people from another area here. That's not cool. We don't do that. We have in Shasta County about 60,000 people that live below the poverty level.
Wow.
In 11 years, we've provided services for 18,000 people from right here, from our area, right? We need to focus on our own people, our family, our friends and our family right here in our community. We need to do really well by them. That's what our focus is.
Yeah, I heard it from a pastor in town years and years ago that like you could look at the homeless people and you can just write them off and you can say, hey, I just don't want to look. I'm not going to think about it. But like if you start to think about them as our homeless people and starting to think like, we have a lot of great churches in town. We have a lot of great organizations. We do support a lot of these entities that are happening. But at the same time, we're supporting, all the stuff globally. There's so many issues in our world, but if you just kind of focus on what's happening in our backyard, I mean, we can do a lot.
Man, we could do it.
I mean, there's a lot of challenges we have right here at home, and it's sad. You go down 273 and you go by the Capri and all these other places where, families are living, at least they have a roof over their head, but it's not great conditions.
No.
It's awful. No. It's sad.
It is, and I get to see that firsthand. Our community probably isn't aware of what I'm about to say, but I get to see it firsthand. When I say there's 60,000 people living under the poverty level, that's a true statement. Well, what does that tangibly look like? Well, you have families that are living in motels and have been for years because they can't rent a house anywhere else, right? You have families who are very low income. They're trying to rent a place. They can't even afford groceries.
Right.
And so a lot of the services that we provide at the mission are actually a safety net for this demographic so they don't wind up on the streets in a chronically homeless state.
Right.
We do less for the people who are, quote, chronically homeless, and we are far more a safety net to ensure people don't become homeless. That 60,000 people living under the poverty level don't wind up on the streets. And now we have more people homeless on the streets than LA, which is about 65,000 sleeping on the streets. That's crazy.
Yeah.
To think that Shasta County could have a larger homeless population than LA or San Francisco if the resources and social service agencies all dried up.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that. Oh, it's absurd.
We've seen a lot of affordable housing projects get built within Redding in the last 4 years. I mean, there's been hundreds of units that have come online. Have you seen that relieve some pressure on people? Are people getting into some of those affordable housing options that K2 primarily has built? Yeah,
it's a massive relief. I mean, it should not be understated. If you ask me today, I'll ask this to anybody who's listening, right? Before I tell my answer, but I'd say when we talk about homelessness, what is the biggest crisis? If I ask that question and people are listening right now, they're going to be like, oh, drugs, mental health. There you go, period, right? And to me, it's like, nope, not even remotely close. Drugs are the epidemic right now. That's what that is. And drugs are inducing mental illness, which is a medical crisis as well, right? But the biggest issue is we have so many drug rehabilitation programs that we can take people through and we can get them off drugs. We have mental health services we can take people through and we can help them become well, right? Let's say I have 500 people that I took through recovery services. All 500 people graduated. They're year and a half, 2 years clean and sober. They're working a job. Where do they live?
Yeah.
Where do they rent a house? What our vacancy rates? Probably 2 or 3% in the city of Redding. 3%. And that's for people who have rental history and have good credit and don't have pets.
Yeah.
What happens if you have bad rental history? You have nobody to vouch for you. You don't have good credit. You just graduated a recovery program. Maybe you have a pet.
Yeah.
You will not be able to find a place to live. Right. So our crisis, we can help people heal. But if there's no place for them to live, what happens? They wind up staying in a homeless shelter for 2 years, and they're going to relapse, and they're going to wind up back on the street.
Yeah.
The crisis we have is the housing component. That's our crisis. How do you solve that? Well, that's my question for the chamber, I guess.
Yeah, well, that is one of our things for our government advocacy committee for next year. Homelessness is one of them. Housing is one of them too. I mean, the city of California has made it so difficult to build a house. It's so expensive. I mean, I have family that are developers that have properties in town. You cannot rent for the market rate what it costs you to build an apartment complex. If you build it unsubsidized, if you were to build a full suite, like 12, 18 units of 2-bedroom market level apartments right now, you're probably if there's no subsidies involved at all from the ground up, you're going to have to rent these places for like, probably $3,500 to $4,000 per month.
Yeah.
Otherwise it doesn't pencil out.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, housing developers are greedy. No, they're not. They're just like, if it doesn't pencil out, you can't do the project. And Title 24 and all these energy calculations and all these different things that California have made it so difficult that they choke out developers. I mean, there has been one market rate apartment complex built in Redding in the last 10 years that I'm aware of. And it's for furnished finders, primarily for nurses. So it's fully furnished, dishes, everything is included. And I don't know what the rents are for that, but the only model that works is this fully loaded rent with utilities and everything covered. Otherwise, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You cannot build in California for small units and try to make money. And if you can't make money, no one's going to do it.
Yep.
It's just, it's not greedy. It just doesn't sound practical.
Lends to what policy changes have to happen there as well.
Yeah. And, it's funny. I mean, so many people, since I've been at the chamber over the last 18 months, my big thing is advocacy. We're a 501c6. We're a membership association with a mission to improve business conditions for our members and the community at large.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time thinking about advocacy. I'm part of Cal Chamber and working with them on a small business advocacy academy. And if you aren't focusing on politics and you're not focusing on policy changes, we're never going to get ourselves out of this. If everybody puts their head in the sand and doesn't say anything, we will never fix this. You have to think of policy changes structurally that are going to make it better for our businesses and ultimately it's going to make it better for the guests of the missions. If you can build an apartment complex and make it affordable and the developer can make money, everybody wins.
Yes. We have to have that. We have to. This is fascinating. So there was a federal bill that went out. It was called Yes in God's Backyard. And then there was a California bill that modeled it that came out, which was Senate Bill 4. And this is fascinating. So actually, it was a Democratic senator out of San Francisco that authored it, and Governor Newsom signed it, which was surprising to me. But what it states is if there are any religious organizations, if you own your own land, the state of California will work with you to build low-income housing on there without tying you up with all of the red tape and bureaucracy that usually kills the project before it even starts.
Yeah.
And that's actually huge. And part of it is it's the government saying we're going to look to the churches to see if you can help us solve this issue. And we know that you do really well with helping people out of crises. So let's put our money where our mouth is, basically. And it's happening right now.
Do you see that happening in Shasta County? Do you see any projects down the pipe?
I don't know of any that are currently in motion, but I do. We have been actively kind of, I would say, courting some churches and others to say, hey, do you want to do this with us? We own property, vacant land, and we could do that ourselves. But, for us, we love to partner and we love to bring more people in. There are certain areas that we do really well, and that's our lane. there's areas where others do better. And so we'll come alongside and just support you, but we'll spearhead. And so, yeah, I'm actually, like right now I'm trying to get, and not on the religious side, but I'm trying to get like some more formal partnerships with CRDC. Again, we did some projects with them in the past. They have a portfolio of probably around 10,000 homes. Yeah. And so, we've done some stuff. Danelle, who you got to hear her testimony, is
amazing.
She was one of the first people to do a house that we did in partnership with CRDC, and she's still there, which is amazing. Rick was one of them too. So I want to be able to acquire as much housing as possible. Maybe they're the acquisition phase, and we come in, we do the supportive service side to ensure that you have great tenancy in there. We'll do the property management, the caretaking, all that, and really ensure that the people in those homes don't go back to the streets. If that happens, man, developers like, oh, please.
Yeah.
Yes, all day long. Thank you, Jonathan, right? And we're like, housing's the crisis.
Right.
But I'd rather you as the developer build it than us as an organization take that level of risk, you know? So that's we're moving in that. But yes, I'm trying to talk to some churches about, let's do this together. We'll be co-developers.
Yeah.
We'll.
All right. So one of the things that we don't think about a lot of times, we see the kind of the, homeless person walking around. A lot of times we don't see kids. So tell us about the kids that are at the mission.
We do have a lot of children that come to the mission. But one of the things that I love is every Christmas we put on our Christmas banquet, and we ask our community to provide Christmas gifts for children. Yeah. Last year, I think we had about 700 kids come to get Christmas gifts at our banquet. So that way, Christmas morning, they had a present open. What's really awesome is one of our employees, he had passed, Bill Hartman. He used to, every Christmas morning, he would wake up, any presents that we had left over, he'd drive over to like the Capri Motel and other places, and we'd have staff that would just go out and knock on doors and hand out Christmas gifts to kids who are low-income families that couldn't afford a gift in the community. So
that's amazing.
We haven't done that since he had passed, but man, that's the stuff that like, that's the why for what we do. Yeah. Just providing community and family, especially for the kids, it's huge. At the peak, I know at the peak, 1 year we had 320 something children below the age of 8 years old staying at the mission.
Wow.
It's a lot. When people think of homelessness, they usually don't think of children.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's huge. That's a big number.
Yeah. Where do you see Shasta County in 10 years?
Ooh.
Not just from the lens of where you sit at the mission, but just in general. Where do you see Shasta County in 10 years?
Yeah, man. The tourism I see rapidly expanding in Shasta County. I mean, all the new developments that are happening, it is absolutely beautiful. It's just getting better and better. So I see a lot of just impactful tourism. Man, for me, what I love the most, the live music scene.
Oh,
so
really?
going down the brand new, business district. You got the markets on the, you got the parks, you got all this stuff in live music happening. I mean, that for me, I love that. And that's just, I don't know if that came from like Nashville or whatever. I love the music scene there. Yeah. So I see that. At the same time, man, I actually see when I look at the Good News Rescue Mission in Shasta County as a whole, I actually see there are a lot of counties in this surrounding area that don't have great social services and great social service budgets. And so I see our organization stepping into those counties to start helping them figure out how to develop really good services there so they can just provide a quality level of care for the people in their county. Yeah. Because you will see at times some counties just kind of shuffling people around. If our organization can play a hand in helping develop these other counties, what does that say as Shasta County as a whole? We become this beacon of light and hope for the surrounding counties. That's what I'm into, man. That's my 10-year vision, I guess.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's great. I like that. So you have a heavy job. You deal with there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of programs. There's a lot of funding. And, it's often like the number one issue that businesses have is homelessness and public safety. Yeah. So you are solving it and you're doing a great job. On the other side, what do you do to blow off steam? Like, how do you, I know you're a big hunter, but you're also a big spice guy.
Oh my goodness.
Do you grow your own peppers?
Yep, I do.
What's the hottest pepper? It's probably illegal to grow it, but you can just tell us anyway.
I can't. None of the peppers I grow are hot. For some reason,
I can't just make them hot.
Mine are never hot. I don't know what it is.
Pepper house, right?
I don't.
Like
Yeah, you
humidity
do.
levels and everything.
But I will tell you what. A guy locally that grows some of the hottest peppers, Officer Jason Rhodes, RPD. Man, he will give me some stuff that I'm just like, what? You must have like stole something from the evidence closet and like laced this. Like, what is going on? It is, or he infuses pepper spray in it. I don't know. It is
that's
brutal. His peppers, they're brutal.
What is the hottest pepper you've ever eaten?
So the Carolina Reaper is Guinness Book of World Record hottest. That's the hottest.
There's
certified.
There's nothing hotter.
There's hotter.
Oh,
totally.
Really? Wow.
The chocolate primatali, the Dragon's Breath, they blow the Reaper out of the water. But that they're not certified by Guinness, but they are way hotter. I mean, they have messed me up for days. I've lost my taste buds.
Why do you eat the hot peppers, man?
It started in college in Simpson. Like I was eating an habanero once a week, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could go like twice a week or three times a week.
Do you enjoy the feeling of eating hot pepper?
Like my mouth is already watering talking about it.
Oh my!
Yeah, so like I might just start like
I got stomach ache. You talking about?
I might start drooling here as we talk. But yeah, it was funny. So one night we had some friends over, and my thing was like I just have bags of habaneros in the fridge, and I just like I take a bite of food and I eat the whole pepper, chew them together. Bite of food, whole pepper. And so one night, like a buddy's he's like, oh, let me try one. He has two, and he's like, what? And at the end, he's like, how many did you eat? I'm like, I don't know. And he counts them as 20 habaneros.
Oh, my God.
I ate 20 habaneros with my dinner. And that was like normal.
Yeah.
But that's not normal. And so
that's not
so I'm like,
man.
well, it's what's next level? So I went to the ghost pepper and I ate a ghost pepper, which at the time was the world's hottest. I'm like, that's hot, but I could do two. So I ate two.
Oh, my.
And then I'm like, okay, well, I got it down. So I was like, next level, the Moruga scorpion. So I grabbed a scorpion, I ate it. Oh my goodness, that was these are what are called super hots.
Yeah.
Guinness World Record peppers. It lit me up so bad. It felt like hypodermic needles piercing my tongue. I got hiccups that I couldn't shake the hiccups for like an hour. I eat them like every night, basically. Like now I'm at the level like a buddy dropped off about 5 chocolate scorpions. I was like, buddy, chocolate scorpions are the worst. I hate the chocolate flavor, anything on a pepper. But I try to eat I eat hot peppers every night if I can, and then but I try to eat the super hots at minimum once a week. And I'm just
keep your tolerance level up.
So I created my own little like channel called Journey to the Reaper. I'm trying to work my way up to be able to handle eating one Carolina Reaper every night.
But you've had one, I'm assuming.
I've had hundreds of Reapers.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I do. I eat
That's awful.
Carolina Reaper.
That's awful.
It's beyond awful.
Wow.
I don't recommend it. It's like drinking napalm. It's horrific. But I'm convinced I can work up my tolerance and I'll be able to handle it. Well, I'm 3.5 years in, and I still can't handle it, and I'm still questioning my sanity on it.
I had one hot pepper when I was in the Marine Corps at this pepper place. It was a whole gimmick. You got to sign the waiver. It's this whole fake thing. I was sick for 24 hours.
Yeah,
it's yes, man.
Yes, it'll mess you up. When I eat a Carolina Reaper, I really have to coat my stomach with
milk.
Not milk. That's
not true, huh?
Well, no, milk helps.
Okay,
milk definitely helps, but I don't want that in my stomach when you eat a Reaper. You're gonna throw up.
Oh,
so
gosh.
So no, like you eat like cream corn, bananas, things like that. Like it kind of like coats your stomach and get your digestive system going, and then you eat that Reaper, because if you don't, what happens if you don't have enough of those foods in there? Man, it feels like somebody takes a knife and it like sticks in your esophagus and is just turning, and that'll last for hours. It is
so terrible,
horrible process. So
wow,
and it happens to everybody who eats one. They're like, what? That's why I tell them, like, it's not like it's gonna burn for a good 15 minutes. It goes away, but then an hour later, you're gonna wake up like crying, and you're like, Jonathan,
and then the other end when you gotta.
Well,
yeah, that's tough, man.
That happens too.
Wow.
That happens too.
Well, hey, Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah.
This was a privilege, man. You're an incredible person. I'm so grateful you're in the community.
Man,
and
thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. This is a lot of fun.
Cool.
Let's go get some peppers.
Let's get some peppers, man. The City Builders podcast is brought to you by Obsidian IT. Obsidian IT is a Reading-based, employee-owned technology company providing simple, scalable, outsourced IT for your business. Discover how Obsidian cares about IT and give them a call at 530-242-6000 or obsidianit.com. Obsidian keeps us running at the Chamber, and we could not do business without them.